welcome to more time in the kitchen. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a creamy tomato and bean stew. So this recipe is certified as student safe in that the ingredients are cheap and easy to find, you don't need any weird or wonderful equipment, and it's easy to make. And in addition to all that, it's also gluten-free and vegan. So it's perfect for if you're trying to slim down a bit for the new year. What more could you ask for? Without further ado, let's get cooking. So to make this recipe, you will need 2 onions, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, 2 tins of white beans. I'm using a mix of haricot beans and butter beans, but you can use just one type of bean or whatever mix of beans that you fancy. I've also got a tin of coconut milk, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, and over here I've got Worcestershire sauce. Now that's optional because I know that it's not readily available in other countries, but I definitely recommend adding it because it really adds to the flavour of the tomatoes. It really enhances that flavour, and you'll need a tablespoon of that. And then just salt and pepper to taste. So the first thing we're going to do is get a saucepan, pop that on the hob and heat it to a medium temperature. And to that we're going to add some oil. I don't think I mentioned that in the ingredients list, but yeah, you're going to need a little drop of oil just to lubricate the pan. And then we're going to throw in our onions. And we're going to let those cook for 5 minutes until they're softened. After that, we're going to throw in some garlic. And we'll let that cook for another 2 minutes. After that, we've just got to throw in all of our other ingredients. So I'll chuck in these tomatoes. Sizzle! And we'll chuck in those beans. It's already smelling good. Okay, and then we'll add in that lovely creamy coconut milk. Give that a little stir. And then we'll fire in that thyme. And the Worcestershire sauce. Just estimating the amount, not going to measure it. Now, I do apologise guys, I've actually missed out an ingredient from my ingredients list earlier on, but another thing that I like to add to this recipe is bouillon powder. If you don't have bouillon powder, you can use half a vegetable stock cube, but I like using this as a vegetable stock because it's pretty cheap, it's widely available, and it's a good thing to have around. It saves you sort of faffing about with the vegetable stock. You know, like the little paper, you can just spoon it out. So I prefer to use this. So we're just going to add a dessert spoonful of this, or like I say, half a vegetable stock cube. Like a heaped dessert spoonful. So we'll wait for that to come to a simmer, and then we can let it cook for 25 minutes. And in that time, I'm going to tell you my student tip. So my tip for this video is don't leave passive-aggressive post-it notes for your flatmates. Now there's a few reasons why leaving a post-it note is not a good idea, but I think the sort of overall thing is that people will generally appreciate you being direct with them rather than, you know, writing something possibly a little bit cryptic or a little bit, as I say, like passive-aggressive or just straight up aggressive. So to give examples of what to do and what not to do, I'm going to give 2 examples from when I was a student. Give us a sec while I just stir that. So my nose, I know this seems like a weird way to start this story, but my nose, when I go from a place that's like really cold to a place that's really hot, or you know, the opposite way around, if I go from one temperature to the other, my nose runs. I don't quite know why. I know it sometimes happens to other people, but I seem to have like a particular problem with it. So when I was coming in and out of the flat that I lived in, I had to blow my nose. And one day I went into the kitchen and there was this notice that somebody had left saying someone is coming in and blowing their nose on the toilet paper. You know who you are. I was like, yeah, I know who I am. I'm the person with a snotty nose. And they said something else about like people not buying toilet paper or something. I can't remember what the rest of the note said, but I knew that I had bought plenty of toilet paper in my time that I was there. You know, when I saw it running low, I'd go and buy some. You know, it's just what you do, isn't it? And this was a flat with 8 girls living in it. 8 girls. So you're going to go through a lot of toilet paper. So really, I don't think that me blowing my nose was the issue. So yeah, that's the bad example, because although I suppose technically the issue was resolved because I went and got more toilet paper, but that I don't think that was really an issue to begin with, and I kept blowing my nose on toilet roll, but I think I then waited until I got into my room so that people couldn't hear it in the hallway. But when I got that toilet paper, I almost felt like writing, you know, I've got more toilet paper, wipe whatever you want with it. But I didn't, because, you know, I didn't want to start an argument. But yeah, the whole thing was just, you know, like it made me mad because I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I didn't see what the problem was. It was just bad. The whole thing was like negative. So the good example, an example where somebody had an issue with something that I was doing, and you know, it was resolved. They had a discussion with me about it. Was so I had a slow cooker. I still have a slow cooker, obviously, but I had a slow cooker, and I shoved it any old place. I shoved it where there was some room for it. I plugged it in, was cooking things in it, you know, every now and then, like every Sunday or whatever. And one of my flatmates said, do you mind moving your slow cooker because the steam is going up into my cupboard, and it was like affecting our food, you know, like making it moldy or making it soggy or whatever. And I was like, oh God, I'm really sorry. I just, you know, I didn't think, and that was the thing, like I just hadn't thought about it. I just shoved it where there was room. So I moved it, and you know, we both understood what was going on. It was all good. It was resolved. No hard feelings. Other than me feeling like upset that I'd like ruined her food. So yeah, overall my advice would be, don't leave passive aggressive post-it notes, have a discussion, and also if you are angry, if you are, you know, like worked up about it, if you can, give it a day, because after, you know, like after a night's sleep or a bit of time, you might think, okay, maybe this isn't as serious as I thought. Or, you know, like maybe they're not doing this just to annoy me. You know, it just gives you a bit of time to think, and then go and talk to the person and just calmly explain what's going on, and the fact that you're upset. You know, and if they don't change things, then, you know, escalate it or whatever. But yeah, no notes. Right, so I think this is about ready now. Because that was not one take, I had to do a few, so it's been about 25 minutes. So before I serve it up, I'm just going to check how it tastes, see if I want to add any seasoning. And this does make a difference to anything that you're cooking, like no matter what it is. Taste it, you know, as you go along and see what you want to add, rather than just blindly following a recipe. It will really up your game. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and we can give it another taste. Just a pinch. Pepper, 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 pepper. It makes things taste better. Right, let's have another taste of that, see if it's improved any. That's the ticket. Right, let's serve this up. Right, so I know I've tried the sauce already, but I've yet to try the complete package. So let's give it a little taste test. Let me just get a bean on there. Right. Well, that is not too shabby, if I do say so myself. So you got that nice creaminess from the coconut milk, but it doesn't sort of wipe out the tomato taste. You know, sometimes you can get a cream of tomato soup and you know, you're eating it and you're thinking, where's the tomato? But the flavour of the tomato is really kept in there by the Worcestershire sauce. So again, that's why I recommend adding that. The texture is nice as well. I do like a chunky soup, I don't like a smooth soup. So you got the beans in there, you got the chunks of tomato in there as well. So I do enjoy that. So absolutely recommend this meal if you know you're trying to trim down for the new year, but money's still a little bit tight after the festive period. Yeah, this is the perfect meal if you're in that situation. So I do hope you give it a go, and as always, thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, give us a like, give us a comment, and for more content like this in the future, subscribe and press that notification bell. But for now, cheerio, bye!